So good morning, everyone. I'm thrilled to have you all here today, and thank you for taking the time to join us for the Careers Matter Revolutionary Revolution webinar. Okay, yeah, math around that. My name's James Foster, and I'm the founder of Careers Matter. Whether you're here because you're feeling stuck in your current job or you're looking to uncover new career opportunities, I promise you that today will be a game changer. I have the chat box open, as I said before. Anybody that has any comments or questions, put them in the chat box. And if they need answering at the time, I will answer them. Otherwise, we'll save them up for the end. So now let's dive in. Which is why we're all here. Are you stuck in your career, feeling trapped by the job market that seems rigged against you? Does the traditional recruitment process leave you frustrated and unfulfilled? So get ready to rethink your career, rethink the job market, and rethink what's possible. What would be possible is if the slide would actually turn. Yeah, there we go. So we're there now. Sorry about that. As I said, I'm James Foster. I'm the founder of Careers Matter. And in the next 25, 30 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer with questions and answering, you're going to learn my exact strategy for how to take control of your career without ever having to apply for a job again. Yeah, I said without having to apply for a job again. To truly be in control of your career, you need to be able to guarantee the outcome, right? This means knowing exactly how to land your perfect job, work for your ideal company, and earning the salary that you know that you deserve. And this is exactly what my Careers Mastery program is designed to help you achieve. And we have somebody with an alarm going off just at the right time. So stick around until the end of this webinar because I'll be giving you access to everything we cover, as well as for today only, a special offer. But remember, you'll need to be watching live to get this. So stay tuned, and I promise you it's going to be worth it. Just seeing if there's anybody else joined, and we're okay for the moment. I know there's plenty of distractions out there, so put your phone down and give me your full attention because you don't want to miss what I'm about to uncover. So you may be asking yourself why I'm qualified to talk on this topic. I have 20 years of experience running a recruitment business before I took up Careers Matter about a year ago. I know how recruitment works, and more importantly, why it so often doesn't. I've placed literally hundreds of professionals like you into the roles that they knew that they were right for, even in cases where they had previously been passed over. I also understand the intricacies of career transition. I personally, this is going to be fun while I have to go between screens to see if people are signing in. So I also understand the intricacies of career transition. I have personally transitioned my career multiple times, so I know a great deal about the change and upheaval that comes with it. Additionally, as a program manager, I built and managed my own recruitment, my own teams, gaining invaluable insights into what employees are truly looking for. Why am I telling you this? Because the recruitment industry isn't there to work for you. And it's time you learned how to get what you want without relying on it. So I was just letting somebody in there. Imagine, if you would, that your career and life would be like if you knew your career was moving forward and you were on a clear path to success and fulfillment. Imagine knowing you could get exactly the jobs that you wanted and be paid the top salary that you deserved. What would that feel like? To be in control and not having to settle for the scraps that are left behind by others. How would it feel if you were feasting at the top table, getting access to exactly the jobs that really interested you, and not having to settle for the leftovers. Being the person landing their dream job and not wondering how others always seem to manage it, but not you. That's got to be worth your time today, right? It's got to be better than what you have right now. And today I'm going to open a new world of ideas that will enable you to do just that, feast at the top table, get access to literally hundreds of jobs that you never see. So the active job market myth, let's talk a little bit about active job markets. Imagine, if you would, that your career and life would be like if you knew you were your career. Actually, we just did that one, didn't we? I think I've got the same content in that slide. Right. As a recruiter, I've spent years finding jobs for people and finding people for jobs. People think they only have one option, using the active job market. This often leads to frustration. They get passed over or turned down for jobs that they know they are the perfect fit for. They make it to the interview, but don't get the job, even though they feel it's a perfect fit. They can't find the job they truly want and end up settling for something less. In short, the active market isn't working for the people for many people, and they don't know what to do next. Well, that's where my program comes in. I know why it's happening. I know what goes on behind the scenes. Imagine if you're a recruiter and getting inundated with applications. Most of them are worthless. Many applicants are not really clear, and you can't see what you have been told to look for. Many of the applications just look the same, and you can't tell the difference, looking at it from a recruiter's point of view. How do you select who goes through and who doesn't? There are a whole host of reasons why you are playing a lottery, relying on the active job market. Some companies do really well and have a great process, but even these don't really take the time to understand you properly. Some may call you and go through a short call, but many don't feel they have been understood, that they have been understood, many candidates that is, or that the person making the qualification call really understood the role or who they were. As I say, it's a bit of a lottery. There are good recruiters who know what you are doing. Frankly, these guys more often than not come to you. The internal or PSL, preferred supplier list recruiter, is normally not so good when it comes to jobs that are off the beaten track for them. They end up feeling, or you end up feeling, like you're not being understood. It really shouldn't be that way and doesn't have to be that way. I think the thing with the PSL recruiter or the internal recruiter is they're really, really good at the jobs that are common, that they, that they can deal with daily. But when it comes to something that's a little bit more selective, they don't find it so easy to actually do the matching. They get told, look for these skills or look for those skills, and they go out to try and find those skills. But when they speak to the person, they don't recognize what what they're being told is actually correct in line for that job. So they don't have that level of detail, that level of knowledge to make a proper match. So unless I've just got somebody else joining, give me a second. So unless it's spelled out for them, it's difficult for them to actually make the right selection of candidate. And this is often why people get frustrated with the process, because they know they're right. I've had people come to me on many occasions and say, I know this role, I know it inside out. I've explained to the recruiter why it's me. And the facts of the matter are that the recruiter really hasn't understood. And they've just been told, look for this, look for that. They can't see it, so they pass over it. That's the issue, or that's one of the big issues. So how can my program help you? So this is where my program comes in, really. I've helped candidates who have been previously overlooked and discarded secure the jobs they truly want and have built the careers that they are passionate about. How? By using the very strategies I learned as a recruiter, positioning candidates perfectly to fit what employees are looking for, and guiding candidates on how to present themselves compellingly during their interview, in fact, at any stage in the process. And let me share a story that highlights the power of effective positioning and presentation. I was working on an assignment for a network services company looking for a technical sales specialist in Germany. This role had very specific requirements. Many of the candidates I spoke with had already been contacted by multiple recruiters and were told they weren't the right fit. One particular candidate stood out to me. He had precisely the experience needed, having sold contact center solutions to the same type of businesses my client was targeting. On paper, he seemed perfect. However, he'd already been contacted about the role and was told that he wasn't a good fit. I took a different approach. I carefully crafted a presentation that highlighted the exact value that this candidate could bring to the role. I emphasized his relevant experience and how it matched his client's needs. I talked about what this guy had achieved, what he'd built, the business that he'd carried out. As a result, he was offered the interview and he got the job and received a 20% salary increase. This candidate's still working with this company, thriving and making really good money. And I took away a significant placement fee, which was very nice at the time. But there's more. I understand how jobs get filled, and I know exactly what steps someone needs to take to advance their career and secure the role that they desire. Many jobs get filled without ever being advertised. If you know how these unseen jobs are found and filled, you can effectively find and secure the job you really want and build the career of your dreams. So the big myth is debunked. The active job market is not just ineffective, it's the least effective way to find a job, particularly if it's a specific job with specialist skills and experience required. If you're relying solely on the active job market, then you're only getting the leftovers. So moving on to some of those other common misconceptions, false beliefs about finding your perfect job. Sorry, I'll start that again. We're going to I spelled the word wrong there and I couldn't quite understand it. We are going to debunk the myth that bypassing the traditional recruitment market won't work. Many people think that stepping outside the traditional recruitment process is futile. They believe there's no effective way to access unadvertised opportunities or engage hiring managers directly. This misconception leads to frustration and missed opportunities. Whereas the truth is there are proven strategies to uncover more job opportunities than you ever see that never make it to the job boards. It's about 70% in the mid to senior level market that don't make it to the job boards. 30% of jobs that are job placements are from the active market. 70% are not. 70% never make it to the advertised market, or they're not filled through the advertised market. It varies a little bit. It goes up. If you the higher up the greasy pole you are at exec level, it's probably 90%, 95%. When you're talking CEO level, it's probably 99% of jobs that are never advertised. You come back down the pole to the more common jobs, then it probably goes nearer 50-50 or even 40-60 that are not advertised. So there is a sliding scale there. But the point is that when you're looking for a job, if you're just relying on the active market, you're going to be missing out on many jobs that you just don't see. High quality candidates who know how to engage properly and ask the right questions can tap into this market. These strategies aren't just theoretical, they are practical and have been used effectively by many. The evidence is clear. Success stories from professionals who have landed their dream jobs and established recruitment businesses that employ these methods demonstrate that bypassing conventional routes is not only possible, but often more effective. So the same processes for me building my recruitment business are the processes for finding these dream jobs. By understanding and leveraging these strategies, you can significantly enhance your career prospects. Let me share a personal story again to illustrate this. On my first day as a recruiter, I decided to put into practice the lessons I'd just been taught. I did my research and identified several companies I wanted to connect with. I found out the right people in those companies to contact. That was quite scary because in those days there was no LinkedIn. It was getting on the phone and asking. My very first phone call was to the sales director of a medium-sized tech business in South England. I made my presentation to him, and something I said struck exactly the right note. After some dialogue, we set up a meeting. 2 days later, I took my first job order. How did I introduce myself? What did I present? How did I do the research? And what did it take to get the business? Well, that's what's in my program. That's the stuff that I'm going to teach in the program. So let me move it forward with let's move forward with the confidence that stepping outside the traditional recruitment is a viable and effective path. Together, we'll explore how you can implement these strategies and take control over your career. Let's talk about something incredibly important, our internal dialogue, what we think to ourselves. Your inner voice might be saying that this approach isn't for you, that you can't do it. You might be thinking, this sounds great, but I'm not confident enough. I don't have what it takes. These thoughts can be paralyzing. And let me tell you, when I first started recruiting, they were my inner dialogue. You do not know how scared I was to pick up the phone the very first time and start making calls. And it never got easier. It was always a difficult thing, but I did it and I won business. However, mindset is absolutely crucial to navigating and succeeding in the hidden job market. Our minds often play tricks on us, making us believe that we are not capable, but the reality is quite different. And here's an example, again, from my experience. Several years ago, back in the 90s, I was at risk of redundancy from my job as a telephone operator. No, my job as a telephone engineer. In fact, I wasn't. I was actually a switch engineer working on System X exchanges at the time. I learned through the grapevine that the large US-based company was hiring people from their European operations. I could have easily thought, well, I'm not confident enough to approach them, but I didn't let those doubts stop me. I took bold action. I contacted a friend who gave me a direct contact into the company. Despite my nerves, I called them and landed an interview. And although I eventually decided to stay with my current company, this experience taught me a valuable lesson. Bold action leads to unexpected rewards. By reaching out directly, I passed traditional recruitment processes, and this saved the company potential recruitment fee. In addition, I've known of occasions when people have made this sort of approach, and although there was nothing with the company and the person they contacted, they were referred on to other opportunities, landing the jobs that they were really looking for. So if your internal dialogue is filled with doubt, remember the story. Bold action can lead to success. This isn't just about avoiding recruitment fees. It's about building confidence and seizing opportunities that others might overlook. So what we're trying to say here is that when you're approaching an organization, you're giving them an opportunity that you can deliver value to them. Don't look at this as being, I'm looking for a job, because that's not what this is about. You're not looking for a job. You're looking for where there is a business opportunity with another organization. And that is absolutely vital to understand that if you're just going to go and knock on the door and go, give me a job, then you're in the job search process. If you go on there and say, this is the value I can bring to your organization, where's there a mutually beneficial opportunity? This is a business transaction, and recruitment is a business transaction. If you really have to get your head around that. The hiring manager will understand it. When you get through to a hiring manager, he will understand it because he will understand the value. He may be thinking you're looking for a job, but he will understand when he sees the value that you can present in front of him. That's the important thing here. You've got to have the confidence to know that you've got the right to do this, as any business has the right to go and offer their services. You look at yourself as just a business doing this. So let's address the final misconception that may hold you back. And that's the belief that HR won't allow you to bypass the traditional recruitment process, or that decision makers must adhere strictly to these methods. Well, this belief is simply not true. Throughout today's session, I've shared stories that demonstrate how bypassing traditional recruitment can be highly effective. The key point to understand is that hiring managers are often just as frustrated as with the traditional recruitment process as you are. The lengthy process, countless interviews, and uncertainty can be as much of a barrier to them as it is to job seekers. Another of my stories, I remember a particular instance where I had contacted a company specializing in telephone systems and contact centers. This is a different business, so I mentioned earlier. This hiring manager was utterly frustrated because he'd been working for months to try and fill 3 specific roles. Despite numerous interviews, he couldn't find the right candidate with the right experience or the quality. I asked if I could assist, and though he was skeptical, he agreed. By bypassing the traditional recruitment policy of the company, within 2 weeks, I shortlisted 5 candidates who all received interviews. 2 of these candidates were hired and went on to excel in their roles. He actually found the other one himself through his own internal contacts. And this allowed the company to eventually find the people that they needed. And whilst they had to pay my fee, which was quite nice, they could start moving forward with their plans. He had been looking over 9 months and he had a full sales plan to deliver, and it was really, really bugging him. So believe me, nobody was going to get in his way if the right candidate was presented to him. So this example underscores that by bypassing the system is indeed possible and often welcomed if it adds value and helps a company meet its needs. Both of these candidates' success stories are now part of my testimonials. Ultimately, overcoming this external barrier involves understanding and demonstrating the value that you bring. Our process can streamline hiring processes, save resource, and provide high-quality candidates, making it a win-win for both you and the hiring manager. Remember, the goal is to solve their problem and make their job easier. And any effective strategy that accomplishes this will be welcomed. So now I want to just break for a couple of seconds before I get on with the final part of the presentation, which is to talk about my program. Is there any questions? I've got you all muted. I think you can unmute yourself if you want to ask a question, or raise your hand in the chat, and I'll open your line up. Anybody got any questions? None? Have I done that good a job? Well, I don't see anything. So what I'll do is I think there'll be questions after this next slide, but I'll move on and make the final slide presentation. So I'm looking now to
Yeah, James, sorry to
So,
interrupt. I have one quick question. So,
I don't know.
yeah. So you have mentioned that bypassing traditional recruitment, right? Um, there are a couple of ways, like whether we can directly visit the company or directly call them and, ask for more details about the jobs and et cetera, et cetera. But most of the time when I try to call them, right, the answer was, we don't deal these kind of calls. You have to do it online and you will get response from our recruitment team.
Yeah, because you're going through the front door. We don't go through the front door. You go directly to the hiring manager, and you don't. And as I pointed out, we're not applying for a job. We are presenting him with a business transaction. So if you go and say, look, you've got a job on offer here. I want to apply for it. They'll tell you how to apply for it. They'll tell you to send your CV to somebody. Because this is what the front office is told to do. This is what the gatekeepers are told to do. So when I used to approach people to find out who there was, I didn't go in as a recruiter. I didn't go, look, I'm a recruiter. I'm looking to contact your technical director. I'd maybe just call in and say, look, my name's James Foster. Who's dealing with this particular subject? And you do it in a fairly commanding way. And more often than not, you'll get the answer. And sometimes if you go in with confidence, if you go in with the right presence, that uh, that gets results. If you go in a little bit timidly, um, as if you maybe don't have the right, then you don't get results, and that's just simply the way it is. If you here's something that is perfectly true. If a CEO from an organization gets his PA to call up an organization to set up a meeting, she goes in and she'll immediately go to almost command that she gets to speak to the office of the person that she's going to speak to. Now, if you can get to the office of the person that you want to speak to, the EA, whoever it is, if you're looking at those heights, then you've got through the front door. That person's job, as the guardian to the CEO or the COO or the whatever, her job is to qualify people that are going to be relevant and important. That's the point where you get to sell yourself. You've got to make this person understand that in going into that office, in going in to speak to the COO or whoever it is you want to speak to, that they're going to want to take the call. And that in not putting you forward, they are doing them a disservice. So it's just the manner of the approach, if you get my point. Does that help you, Donna?
Yeah, indeed, James. Thank you.
And again, this is one of those things. We'll talk about this if we go into the program. We'll talk about this quite a lot, and we'll have these types of conversations where it's what's your experience versus what can I sort of provide that might help. What have other people's experience been in the program? That's the type of dialogue that we can have. Manmeet, yeah, I've got to
Yeah, yeah.
unmute you. Sorry, I just muted you. my mistake. Go for it, Manmeet.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thanks for the lovely presentation. I just wanted to check, does this approach work at all levels or only at senior levels of jobs?
It works at all levels to some extent. I'm not going to tell you. So at every level, the hiring manager has a problem that they're trying to address. If they're hiring you, if they're looking to hire somebody like you, then they have a problem. And if you're the solution to that problem, they're going to listen. So in that context, it works at every level. The the exceptions to that are possibly entry level. And that's an area that I've not really worked extensively, so I can't talk entry level too much. But graduate entry or people trying to come in at the outset of their career, a lot of those sorts of roles are entry level roles are not looking for people who have already got the experience. They're looking for people with maybe the qualifications and maybe experience within those qualifications. So it's still just as important to talk about the value that you have to offer. But at entry level, it's a slightly different relationship, shall we say, into the hiring manager. The hiring manager is probably looking to bring in several people with a view that 2 or 3 of those may make it through into the organization longer term, and maybe 2 or 3 of those are not, maybe proved not to be suitable in that part. They maybe pass them on to another part of the organization or let them go after a period of time. So entry level is slightly different, is what I'm trying to say. Does that help?
Sure, thanks. That helps. Thank you.
Okay, doke. Any other questions for the moment, or shall I go? Can I go on with my presentation? I'll go on my presentation. If you've got anything, raise your hand, and I will stop. So, as I say, let's talk about what we're here for, or what I'm here for anyway. Career Mastery Group Coaching Program. This is where I am going to help you over a 4-month period, if you stay with me for 4 months, to understand exactly how you can get through to these opportunities. So first, let me thank everybody for joining me today. And I'm excited to introduce this group mastery program. This program is meticulously designed to provide you with all the tools, strategies, and support that you're going to need to accelerate and take your career forward. So what does it comprise of? The first component is how to write a CV effectively. I'll give you the numbers I give you are from my experience. So as a recruiter, 20 years experience, this is a fact that probably 90% of the CVs that I have seen are not fit for purpose. They don't really sell the candidate, the individual. They increasingly they are fitting a formula. In the past, people just sort of wrote what they felt they had to write, what their friends had told them to write, and you'd get excruciatingly long. The longest CV I've ever seen, 56 pages. It was a joke, except it wasn't. This guy had meticulously gone into every single project and had detailed it. 56 pages worth. Nobody's ever going to read 56 pages worth. But the ultimate career CV video workshop, the ultimate CV video workshop, which is part of my program, is going to give you everything that you need to write an effective CV. And again, we will be carrying out weekly calls, and in those weekly calls, I will help you develop your CV. To get a CV that is going to get attention, that is going to get people sitting up and knowing about you. But more importantly, the way that I help people structure their CVs is to understand their value and what they offer to a potential hiring manager. And that is priceless beyond just your CV. It's important, if you have those stories of what you have contributed and the value that is brought and the difference that it's made, that's your interview. That's when you want to go for promotion, when you want to bid, if you like, for a particular project internally, whatever it is. Those stories are what are going to get you your advancement in your career. And we teach you those in the Ultimate CV video workshop. And then there is my course, Hidden Jobs Strategies for Success. I wrote this some time ago, and I revised it last year. It's now I think one of them's half an hour, and the other two are 45-minute videos that go into everything that I've just been talking about in this presentation, but in quite a lot of detail, and exactly how to find jobs that are out there that you don't see. And again, this is coupled with the fact that we are meeting weekly, that I can show you how to implement those strategies. And to be fair, if you stick with me for the full 4 months, then you will, a lot of the weekly sessions are going to be about implementing the strategies from that course. A lot are going to be about getting the CV right. A lot are going to be about how to produce a proposal, how to write an effective communication, how to present yourself into the hiring manager so that they're going to listen to you, so that they're going to take note. Those are the things that we're going to be going through. Then there's mindset vision training. This is something that I've added recently. It's something that I've done a lot of for myself. Developing the right mindset to build a career. In my case, to build a business. Developing the right vision so that I've got clarity and know where I'm going. Now, this part of the training is actually it's 2 modules within this program, and this is where we can do a lot of learning together about what helps people, what you found that's been useful in your life to help you to focus and to develop exactly the right mindset. But there's some techniques and there's some things that we will go through which are really important to understand. For example, the brain is quite a remarkable piece of kit. It will help you if you know how to do this right. It will actually help you to achieve exactly what you want to achieve. There is a process, or there is a part of the brain called the reticular activating system, and we're going to talk about that in some sort of detail within it. The reticular activating system, let me give you a for instance of that. If you've gone into a car showroom and you've looked at a particular model of car, before you had actually gone into the showroom, you probably never noticed that car at all when you were driving around. Suddenly, you start noticing the car. You go into the showroom. Let's say you've got a GLC like mine outside, a Mercedes GLC. Until, there are loads of those on the road, but until I actually went in to look at my GLC, I'd never noticed them. And all of a sudden, you start noticing them. That's the reticular activating system. It's the bit that deals with flight and fight. And we're going to talk about how that can help you in your career and in your life. And there's a lot more to it than that. And then we've got the Career Mastery membership. Now, this is going to be a group that grows. It will start with just us. Those of us that join this program today, you're going to be part of the group. And that group is going to grow, and we are going to be able to work together in that group to help each other with answering questions, with what we found useful, what's worked, what hasn't worked. And generally, I think you'll find in the long term, when I've got a good sized group there, I'm also going to be inviting people in to make presentations to the group, which will be on on YouTube or Facebook or something like that. But the group itself is a private group, and you're getting free access to that for 6 months. This program's 4 months. There's a further 2 months going to be thrown into that. If you wish to carry it out longer than that, then you'll be offered the opportunity to do so. And I'm hoping by the time you get to that point, you understand the value that that group's going to provide for you. And then there's the interview group prep session. This is something that I've offered to people in the past to give them a mock interview, effectively to help them with the job interview that's coming up. Send me the job description. I'll prepare some questions, and I will help you to prepare for those questions. There's a little bit more to it than that, because there's different types of questions. There's the technical questions that you're going to get asked, but then there's those nauseating little what do they call them? I've forgotten what they call them at the moment. Situational questions. Give me for instance, when you were doing this or whether you were doing that, and we will prepare some of that. Now we will do that as a group. And at the end of this, I'll tell you a little bit more about how you may be able to gain some value from joining this group as well individually. Weekly coaching. I've mentioned this already. 4 coaching sessions a month, 1 a week, for 4 months. Now, the program comes with 2 months, and I'll explain this in a second, as standard, and the option for an additional 2 months. All of that, if you were to buy it individually, would cost nearly £5,000. So the group program itself, 120 for the workshop, 360 for the strategies course, 240 for the mindset, 180 for the membership, 180 for the interview group prep session, and the weekly coaching, all add up to just shy of £5,000. But of course, you're not going to pay that. What you will pay is, for the first 2 months of the course, you'll pay £750. And that's going to be split into 2 months payment. So today you have access, if you sign up today, for £375 to everything that you see above. But there's a commitment to spending the full to the first 2 months, if you see what I mean. So it's going to be £750. It's just split over the first 2 months. And then you get the option after that to continue with me for a further 2 months, 1 month at a time. And that will be £250 for each month. Now, each individual consultancy program itself is worth £240, and you're getting 4 of them for 250, and another for those extended months. So that's the program. You'll see there, because it's already come up, that there is a 30-day money-back guarantee built in. You've got to do the work. If you do the work, you're going to get results. But if in the first 30 days you don't feel you're going to get the results, then I'll give you your money back. There's no point me taking your money off you if it's not going to work for you. So you've got 30 days to assess whether this is right for you. And how are you going to get this? Well, the answer is by, oops, don't know what happened there, by following this link, which I will put in. Before we finish this, I'll put the link into the chat, but you'll get an email after this with that link. So you will be able to go to the landing page and sign up for it immediately after this presentation. Or you can write it down now. I don't have it as yet in the group, but it will be there shortly. I mentioned that you would have access to everything, and again, before I close this out, I'm going to upload the slides and the slide notes. This presentation is being recorded, and as soon as it's rendered, I will send that to you. So you'll get the link to watch this again. For anybody that joins the program, in addition to what I have there, I will offer you the individual interview prep that I usually sell for £180. I will offer it you at £60. So you can come to me for one interview prep session for £60. Just message me and I will show you how I'll get that set up for you. Additionally, for anybody that joins this program at any time, you will be able to buy a one-on-one session with me for £180. That's normally £240, but I'm reducing it to £180. If you sign up today and only today, you get a group as an individual consultancy session for free. Anybody that signs up today on the 16th of August 2024, I've already put that into my system so that so it will recognize anybody that signs up today. They will be offered a free individual consultancy session where we can talk about literally anything that you need on an individual basis. So the group coaching sessions will be really, really good. And as a group, there's a group impact that helps those. But you may want to bring something privately that's really troubling you and that I can help with. And that's where that will come in really handy. So if you sign up today, you'll get one individual coaching session for free. So I'm going to stop sharing. And the first thing now, first of all, has anybody got any questions? If you have, just unmute yourself and feel free to ask. Anybody got any questions on that at all? I'm just going to get the link for my.
No questions from me, James. Just wanted to say thank you for the presentation.
That's okay, no problem at all. I hope you found it useful, even though I was a bit stuttery at times. I noticed one of the slides had got some duplicate notes on it, so I started reading into the wrong place. So apologies for that. That's what we're looking for. So I'm just about to put the full link to access the program, to access the course, if anybody's interested in taking it up. If you follow that link that I've just put into the chat now, you'll be taken to the landing page where you can sign up to be part of the course. Once I know who's on it, I will come back to you with an invitation for the first group session. The first group session is likely to be on Tuesday after the bank holiday, which is not this week coming, it's the week after. The idea there is to give you a full week to go through the material that's in the course. If when you've accessed it, there's any questions, email me or message me in the group that you'll be given access to when you're there. Are there any questions for now about that?
Thank you very much for your presentation, James. And yeah, it's really insightful. Probably I'll get back to you, if I have any questions.
Okie dokie. Okay, it's just telling me I can't minimize that. I'm trying to just get the slides to upload the slides that I said I was going to. Webinar handout. So you should now have the link and the webinar handout in the chat. You can download those or copy and copy the link. So I'll leave that up for a while. Are there any other questions for now? If anybody wants to contact me directly, personally, my email address is, yeah, that's the one, is in the chat as well. So if anybody wants to email me, or maybe wants to set up a 15-20 minute chat with me just to discuss this in a bit more detail, quite happy to do that. Basically, what I don't want you to go away from here going, I'm not sure about something, and that puts you off for signing up because you feel a little bit uncertain about something. So ask me any questions you like. If I can't get back to you today, I'll get back to you on Monday. I've got quite a busy day ahead of me as well. But if you can, if at all possible, I'll try and get back to you today.
Sure. Thanks, James. Have a great evening.
Okay, so thank you everybody for attending. That's it for now. I'm going to close the meeting off. If there's if anybody's got any question, email me.
Thank you, James.
No problem. Cheers then.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
That was all right.